This is the plaintiff, Angela Thomas. She says the defendant hung a piece of heavy artwork on her wall, and a week later, the thing fell, smashing her marble table. Another piece of artwork fell and smashed on the floor after the piece the defendant hung fell. And she wants to be compensated for her losses, so she's suing for $1,005, the amount she's out. This is the defendant, James Willie. He says he owns a framing shop, and he agreed to hang a heavy piece of artwork on the plaintiff's wall. 2 weeks later, she calls, saying it fell, and he wants to know how that's his fault. Maybe she sideswiped it and it fell off the wall, or while she was cleaning it or something. Anything could have happened in that time, and he's simply not responsible. He's accused of using a shoddy hook. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,125, the cost of framing 9 pictures which haven't been paid for.
All parties, please take your readiness. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Leon is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Thomas, you are suing Mr. Willie and his business for $1,005 in damages that you say he did when he helped you hang something up. Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, I met Mr. Willie last summer through my fiancé. He had a framing shop in Pensacola, New Jersey. I live in Philadelphia. I met him and we purchased some pictures, quite a few pictures. So I bought at least 12 pictures at the time. My fiancé bought about 10 from him as well. So about a week later, I went back with a friend. That was on the 20th of May. So then on the 23rd, I called James and I said, James, how much would you charge me to hang the pictures? Because Tom was out of town. So he said, nothing. I said, when can you hang them? He said, I can come today. So I said, okay. And he took the mosaic down from where it was.
Why did the mosaic need taking down?
I have no clue, Your Honor.
Were you putting up that one painting somewhere near the mosaic?
Yes.
Okay, so was it off balance and so the mosaic needed to be moved or what?
No, Your Honor, the mosaic was in the middle.
And it was staying exactly where it was?
It's been there for over...
All right, so he takes that. Why did you take down the mosaic?
Well, I needed space to hang the picture where she wanted it to be hung.
Okay, so according to you, it's because of bringing in the new picture, they needed to be, the mosaic needed to be moved.
Correct, because it could not fit on the right-hand side of the mosaic.
Okay.
So I had to adjust it to the right, to the left.
All right.
That was the purpose of that.
Did you have any trouble with the mosaic?
No.
Well,
point of correction. The only time I had a little trouble was when I took it down and set it on the floor. In the process of lifting it, the wire behind it was rusty and it cut. So, but nothing broke at that particular.
But were you holding it by the wire?
Yeah, I held by the wire, and it broke.
So the wire breaks, okay.
The mosaic stayed intact.
Okay.
So I went, knowing that, after I hung the other picture, I went to Home Depot and got new wire to put that on it.
Because why? Because she's such a good customer and her fiance was such a good customer. You didn't even want to charge them and you wanted to help out and blah, blah, blah. Now look at you. All right, so then you put a new wire on the mosaic.
Yeah.
How did you hang it on the wall?
Well, I used this.
So did you, how had it been hanging on the wall before you moved it?
It was a nail. The nail does not have enough support at the bottom of it. If you look at regular nail.
So when you hung it up with, let me see.
And that takes some.
It must have been a pretty thick nail, though. So you hung it up with a picture hanger?
Yes.
Okay.
This is better because.
Is it? Because what happened is you hung it up and a week later it falls down, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in the process, it breaks a plate and it breaks a marble table.
And it chipped the mosaic as well. Your Honor.
So she's saying, you know, it's got to be this because the thing was hanging 20 years before you got there.
Well, it was the same thing that I hung the pictures that the one I took to her house that weighed close to 35 to 40 pounds, which is heavier than what she had. and nothing
How
happened
much
to
does
that.
a mosaic weigh?
It was probably about 20 pounds.
How much does a mosaic weigh?
It's about 75 pounds, Your Honor, because it's 3.75 feet wide and 2.5 feet long. And it was the picture he hung.
Why couldn't you just wait for Tom to get back?
I know.
Right?
I know.
It was that the picture was not 75 pounds. There's
I don't
no
know,
way.
because I don't have it here. I can't
There's-
weigh it
there's-
myself.
there's
I
no
can't
way
feel
the
it.
picture will be
but
75.
what do you think happened? Because you don't have a question in your mind that the damage happened, that the thing came
Well-
down, and that everything else, right?
Well, what I had in my mind, I secured the picture there that I could speculate. One, could have decided to move the pictures, to make adjustment to the pictures. It could have fallen. It was after 2 weeks. After
Yeah, but
two-
why would she blame it on you? She likes you. Why would she want to pin it on you if she didn't feel it was your fault? Like, if she had knocked it down, she knows she knocked it down. Why would she do that to you? You're suggesting that she's making it up and framing you, which is evil. And she's suggesting that you just put it up negligently, which is an accident.
It's after 2 weeks. So anything
Yeah?
could have gone wrong. Because the fact that I hung it, it was there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
secured
But,
it. It
right,
was
but
secure.
are you telling me that there's no such thing as hanging something up and then the thing falling down on its own?
After 2 weeks.
Because it's not really?
No,
Because
I mean-
that can happen.
Well, because what I'm using is a tolerance to 75 pounds. That's
I gotta tell you, these brads are very little.
No. Those are new technology. What do you do? You can hang down on the sheetrock,
Let me see
75
that.
pounds on the sheetrock, and it will work.
I told him he needed concrete nails, Your Honor.
Is it a concrete
And
wall?
it's a concrete wall, the firewall that divides the two houses.
Oh, yeah.
They bent because it's not concrete nails.
Well,
And I told him that when I called him to come and
Look,
hang
what is it bent?
the
What do you-
picture that he sent, that he was supposed
me
to
look at
hang. And this is the wire that he
Do you have a
bought.
picture of the damage to the mosaic?
No, Your Honor, because
Why not?
I already fixed it.
Okay. And then supposedly the mosaic fell
No,
on a marble
these-
table. Stop talking. You don't just yell out what you want to say. Hold on a second. Do you have a picture of the marble table that chipped?
Yes, Your Honor, and I
Okay.
have the pieces of the marble as well.
While she's looking, what did you want to say about these bent pieces?
Those things, they will not bend like that.
How do you know? She took them
Because
out of the wall.
I-
She
I-
brought them to
I-
court. What do you
I-
think? She took a hammer to them to frame you?
That can be possible.
Okay, but do you think it's
But
probable?
here's the thing, because I've been doing this business. I run a $250,000 business.
Was it a
okay?
concrete
But-
wall?
Yes, and that can penetrate. I have hung mirrors. I can show you pictures of some of the things I hung there without seeing nails.
Okay. Is this the mosaic?
Yes, Your Honor.
So when it falls, what do you do?
I didn't realize it fall until I came downstairs the next morning. So I called James and I said, James, the mosaic fell off the wall and broke the table, it broke the plate, and it broke the
Do you have a picture of the plate? Oh, it's very hard to tell what it was before. What kind of plate was that?
Your Honor, it was a big decorative plate, nice, it was black, but it had like iridescent in it. It had different colors according to how the sun would hit it. It was just a very...
When did you get it?
I bought the plate about a long time ago, about 20 years, let's say 18, 19.
Do you remember what you paid for the plate?
Yes, Your Honor.
What did you pay for the plate?
I paid $35 for the plate.
Okay. So what do you tell him?
I told him that what was damaged, what was broken in the house. He apologized, he was sorry that happened. So I told him, I said, well, you know, since you're in this kind of business, can you see if you can find someone who could melt the plate back down and remake the plate? He said, okay, he was gonna look and see, you know. But he didn't get back in touch with me. So about 2 weeks later, I called the lady and I asked her, can she fix the mosaic for me? Because I know the plate was unfixable. So I went that same day. She fixed the mosaic for me, what was damaged.
And that cost you $35?
$35.
Okay.
So when I told James, he said, well, we're going to work something out, because I had given him a calendar with some pictures to frame for me.
And that's what you have here, correct, sir?
Yes,
And how many pictures are framed there?
at 9.
When she brought those in to be framed,
Right.
Did you give her an estimate of what it would cost to have them framed?
Yes.
And what was your estimate?
$125 for each.
Do you have an estimate that you gave her in writing? Because she says you told her from the beginning 98, right?
No,
Yes,
Well, so let me see the paperwork, because when you leave your prints there, he gives you something that says.
Your Honor, the day the 20th, when I bought the 2 pictures off of him, and that's when I dropped off the calendar.
Yes,
But
and
he
so
never-
do you have
he never-
paperwork for dropping
No,
everything off?
No, Your Honor.
And do you
that's
have an
the kind of
estimate for what it
relationship-
was going to cost to frame?
He just told me $98 per
Okay,
picture.
and now, so you say it's 98, you have no paperwork, and
Yeah.
you say it's 125, and do you have paperwork?
This is the reason why I did not give her paperwork. She had brought a friend there when she was going to when she was dropping these pictures off, and she indicated to me that she did not want her friend to know what she was doing. So therefore, she's leaving everything and would verbally agree based on the relationship that
What does that have, just because she has a friend, why can't you just write a receipt and hand it to her? I don't understand
because
that.
she didn't have the time.
How does she have the time to say, you see that friend there? I don't want her to know what I'm doing, so don't hand me anything. That doesn't make any sense, what you're saying.
No, her friend was not there.
Okay, so why didn't you just give her, at that moment when the friend wasn't there, a written estimate that says 125?
But that's I should have done that.
Oh, okay. You call him and you tell him it's $35 for the mosaic repair, and then what happens? About the plate, what happens?
So I said to him, the lady said that the plate cannot be melted down because it's not glass. So when I told him that, he said, okay. I said, well, I want to make a black butterfly to sort of have a sort of memory of the plate because I really liked it. So he said, okay. I really love, John.
I know, the plate served its time. It was 20 years there. Go ahead.
know.
No, I know what you mean. Go ahead.
So he said, okay, we'll work something out. So the pictures weren't framed as yet, the calendar that I left him, so I kept calling him and asking him when were they ready. So then finally.
And according to you, the price he quoted you was $98 per picture. And there's 9 of them. Can I see your text? While she's looking for that, let me talk to you. She calls you and she tells you about the breakage, and what do you say to her?
Well, I told her that I was not responsible for that. However, because she's a good customer, the pictures I was making for her, I would give her some discount on that.
Is this by text that you two say that to each other?
No, it was on television, on phone.
Okay. So how are you going to prove what you're saying? Right. All right, so now, you tell her, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a discount, and what discount do you give her?
I was going to charge her $98 for I believe $98 for each picture.
Okay.
But the point I want to make too, I want to make 2 points. One is the mosaic do not weigh 75 pounds. I would never put 75 pounds up by myself. Usually I have someone doing it with me. And the other point I want to make, when she called me, I did not apologize to her. I told her it was not my responsibility because it has taken 2 weeks.
I know. Can I just ask you a question? Because I did not just fall off a turnip truck, okay? I have had homes, I have had artwork, and when something falls off a wall, there's something, about the way it was hung that causes it to fall off a wall if it's only 2 weeks away. I mean, I can understand that the wall deteriorates, there's a moisture issue, if it's years later or whatever, but if it's 2 weeks away, what else could it be but the way it was hung?
Well,
Unless you're saying she's swinging from the chandeliers and she's swinging from pictures.
But the same wall that I put the pictures I weighed 35 to 40 pounds, that's the same wall that I used and the same material that I used at that time. Why didn't it fall?
Maybe one weighs more than the other.
But
So what you're saying is that you offered to her a discount to $98, so you wanted to give her a $243 discount on the framing. That's how you wanted to resolve this, correct?
Right, as a good customer. They
Right.
spent a lot of money with
And then
me.
she says, no, it was always going to be $98, and I want my damages. Okay, so now we have, all these texts start when everything hit the fan. Do you have texts before that?
No, Your Honor.
Why not?
Because I was talking to James because I just thought he was a reasonable person and he would know because he took the concrete nails out.
Okay, I don't want to hear you repeat yourself.
Okay.
I'm asking you, other than you two yelling at each other, which is all this is, do you have any evidence back in May, because it goes from May 23rd, you give your address,
Right.
and then the next thing is July 14th. There's no text between you two then?
No, Your Honor, no.
Okay, what did you mean by your text, James? First of all, you didn't charge me $125. My witness was there, but do you have an affidavit from that person?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
No.
And secondly, you're getting so deep for $200 to split down the middle is going to be $200. You can write it off. What does that mean?
I was trying to tell him that, he's a businessman and he can write.
Yeah, but had she offered to settle it with you for $200?
I received text that didn't make any sense to me, so I didn't respond to it.
Yeah,
Well, that makes sense to me. They just say, put it down the middle. It's going to be $200. You can write it off. So she's trying to say, we can go to court, or you can take $200 off.
The reason why it didn't make sense to me, when you have something that costs about $1,000 or just about, and you're telling someone to split $200 in the middle, it doesn't make sense to me. And to write it off, that's not how I keep my book. I should have did her a favor. I drove 45 minutes to go and hang the picture. Usually I charge like $200, $250 to hang those kind of pictures up.
I know, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to exercise due caution. Like, in
did.
other words, that was a decision that you made. I can't turn around and say, oh, and by the way, that was worth $200 when it ended up falling.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right, she's going on and on, how you had always told her it would be 98, it was never 125, and, her perspective is that you're just saying that so that you can start off of a higher number. Then on August 5th, you text her and say, good morning, this is my last offer, and must cash $720 for all 9 framed pictures. And then she says, I'll pay you $600. That way you lose and I lose. I lost the plate, I lost the 2 breakage on the table, and I lose having to pay to have the mosaic refixed. So we're here over $120? You lost 2 really good customers over $120. You wanted $720 and she wanted $600.
Well, I've been backward because, number one, I handled the picture with no charge, and because
that was your decision. That's not something that was of value to her. If you hadn't done that, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, but I understand that. But at the same time, I'm providing customer service, good customer service. I appreciate the business she did with me. So, considering all of that, I gave her an offer,
Okay.
which she rejected. I mean, I'm bending backward for her. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to lose. I mean, I'll be honest with you, they were a very good customer.
Yeah.
They bought a lot of pictures from me.
They're not buying any more.
That's fine.
That's how it is. All right. All right. First of all, you have to understand that this is not a criminal case where her burden of proof is beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. This is a civil case where she's got to prove by a preponderance of the evidence. It's more likely than not. I have something that you hung and 2 weeks later it falls down. I don't speculate. I need evidence. So, there's no kids there, which people always blame it on. Things don't spontaneously fall. It was up there for 20 years, and then all of a sudden it falls down and breaks all this stuff. So I know that it fell down. We all know it fell down because it broke this and it broke something else. So it broke the plate into a million pieces. So we know it fell down. And the question is then, what do you have to pay in damages if I am finding you liable, and I am finding you liable? I just think it's a shame that you guys couldn't just work it out and then keep the relationship between you two. Your counterclaim is for $1,125 for the framing of 9 pictures. Can you just count them and make sure 9 are framed? When we have another dispute, which is, was it 98 or was it 125? If she claims it's 98 and you claim it's 125, that's that much more than what she claims, I need to have proof from you as the business person who's supposed to have records of this that it's 125. Because she was adamant from the minute you first suggested 125 that is absolutely not what you charged her. So I'm going to find that the price was $98. That means she owes you for those. And from that $882, I'm going to deduct what reasonable costs are for the damage that happened. All right, now you got an estimate to fix the marble table. Let me see that estimate. When did you buy that marble table?
I bought that in 1992 or 93. One of those.
Do you remember what you paid for it?
No, Your Honor.
Was it brand new?
Yes.
I find that you owe him on his counterclaim for these items $940, which is the $882 plus tax.
Okay.
And of that $940, I am ruling in your favor in your claim against him for the mosaic repair of $35, for the $35 cost of the plate, not 2 classes to make a butterfly mosaic, which is $70. No, the cost of the plate, and then the $700 for the cost of the repair of the marble, because I know that is expensive. That totals to $770. So $940 minus the $770 in damages equals $170. You owe him for these $170. So the net judgment then on the counterclaim, you're getting your pictures and he's getting an additional $170.40. You guys should have settled it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So both parties win something in this suit and countersuit. The plaintiff ends up getting her pictures, and the defendant does get some money for the pictures, after all. Only $170. He had been suing for more than $1,000. All right, Ms. Thomas, how do you feel about the outcome of the case? What do you think?
I'm very happy. I think the judge understood what I was saying and saw that I was telling the truth, because I was telling the truth.
Well, it's kind of a shame you couldn't have worked this out without coming to court, don't you think?
I agree, because I did offer to him, I said, you know, let's split it down the middle. Even Tom, my fiance, said to him, let's split it down the middle. You know, He was right, you know. This way,
Yeah.
and he had 2 other pictures I
out.
wanted to purchase from him. He had a Bob Marley picture and another picture with Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama and different people. I wanted to purchase that from him as well. He was holding it for me. So now I'm not going to buy it now, but it could have been better off.
It's over.
Yeah, I bought 14 pictures
Your relationship with him is over.
It's over.
Yeah, you won't be a customer of his anymore.
No, it's over.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, you got those pictures that you did want. Now you can take them home and hang them. You won't have him hang them, I guess. Is that right?
I'm going to wait on Tom like Judge Millian suggested.
Okay. Good for you.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Now let's see what the defendant has to say. At least he's going to get a little bit of money for his pictures. He wanted $1,125. He's going to get $170. Mr. Wiley, how do you feel about it? You're getting something after all. What do you think?
Well, I'm disappointed with the fact that I was doing her a favor. I drove 45 minutes to hang pictures for her that I charged $250. And after 2 weeks, and I hung those pictures, anything could have gone wrong in her house. And she indicated to me that it has fallen. And in addition to that, I gave her the further discount.
A discount.
And the fact that, and also
point is, the judge found you liable for that picture that fell down. So, you know, that's why you didn't get everything.
Well, I have no way of knowing. No one has any way of knowing, because after 2 weeks, anything could have gone wrong in the house.
Well, listen, that's the outcome of the case, and we've got to live with what the judge decided. So you will get $170 for those paintings.
Well, that's fine. I run a $250,000, $250,000 business, and one customer will not spoil it, because I continue to provide great service for all of my customers.
Thank you very much. All right, sir. Okay. Well, he's not very happy, but that's the way it goes in court, Harvey.
Okay, Doug, no pun intended. What am I saying? Pun intended. This guy could be on the hook for more than the actual cost of the job, and that's the case generally. When you make a deal with somebody, you are responsible for any damage you cause as a result of negligence, even if it exceeds the cost of what you were supposed to get.
How does a litigant prove emotional distress?
Well, I'm sort of an expert in emotional distress, having been married to you for 29 years and 7 months. But apart from that, it's a tough thing to prove in a courtroom. It's not a routine thing. I mean,
everybody sues for it all the time,
right.
And then they
always plead damages for emotional distress,
right,
because
to jack it up. But the truth of the matter is that you have to.
It's hard.
You have to present some kind of psychological testimony.
And you got to make that leap on the cause and effect thing, because oh, well, I can't sleep. Well, neither can I. Right. You know, all right. The judge is sitting there thinking, or the jury's thinking, a lot of us can't sleep, right?
Either, but
I'm anxious all the time. So am I.
Yeah. Who isn't?
I gained a lot of weight. So did I. Right, so you have to prove that cause and effect. You got to kind of close that circle.
And the way I've seen it proven is that they all of a sudden start going to a psychologist, and they have the bills from the psychologist, and the psychologist says it's the post-traumatic stress syndrome after an accident or whatever it is, and that kind of thing.